What's up, internet? Alright, so there was a great thread in the community, the Slack group that I'm a part of, which you can join. It's open to the public. I have a link below in the description. And a friend of mine, Sean Lee, shared this really incredible article. I believe it's New York Times article, also linked below. It's about this topic of on this topic of creativity, and how there's this cultural belief that the younger you are, that there's a direct relationship between youth and creativity, when in fact that's fundamentally and categorically untrue. And it features a gentleman who's in his 90s who was told at a very young age of like 24 that he'll never be a physicist, he'll never be a scientist. And now, of course, he's had a very celebrated life. Was a co-inventor of the lithium-ion battery. He actually just submitted a patent for a new advancement on electronics and battery technology at like 94. And anyway, the article goes on to share this idea that the younger you are, the more creative you are, and how that's very pervasive in our culture. And it just deeply resonated with me. So thank you, Sean, for that article. It was incredible, just an incredibly encouraging read to hear about all these people who are older in their years who are doing amazing things, and how actually, historically and statistically, more people, especially related to patents and kind of innovations and inventions, more people who are older in their years submit more functional and useful patents than those in their earlier stages. But all that to say, it's this idea that there's a direct relationship between youth and creativity, and we know that not to be true. But the problem is that you and I'll just speak for myself, I've bought into that belief. And I remember when I first came out here to San Francisco in Silicon Valley, I felt that. I felt the pressure of not being in my 20s and feeling like I couldn't pace, feeling like I couldn't perform, feeling like I wasn't good enough to do another startup. And I even thought that perhaps my best role at a tender age of 34, 35 was to coach other entrepreneurs, younger entrepreneurs, to coach and mentor them up, and maybe angel invest, you know, the two ways that I would spend most of my time. And so, because I felt that, and especially here in Silicon Valley, it's so pervasive, it's so heavy, there's so much a focus on youth that you can't help it. You feel that reality, you feel that cultural nuance that, hey, you're just too old to start a startup. You're too old to start a new venture. You can't do 100-hour weeks. You know, you can't run that fast and hard. But here's the thing, is I feel more creative than I ever have been at 34. I feel more wise about my decision making than I ever have been. And as a consequence of more wisdom and knowledge and experience, my decision making is, of course, better. But it actually is an accelerant. It actually is accelerating my decision making. It's also accelerating the outcomes. And so I liken it to this idea of breaking in a horse. When a horse is young and hasn't been trained, or broken in is the right term, which I love that term, by the way. A horse that's not broken in is relatively useless to a trainer and to a person who needs the horse, whether it's to plow a field or to, be on the Kentucky Derby circuit or to race. Like, a horse is useless to humans, to us, until they're broken in. And so I really liken it to that type of dynamic. I had unfettered, uncontrolled, raw energy when I was younger. And now, as an older person, it's more disciplined, it's more focused. I actually have more resolve. I just feel like I'm a more strategic, wise decision maker, operator, executor of things. And even though I may not be spending 100 hours a week just because of raw energy and all of my other responsibilities as an adult, as a parent, as a father, as a husband, man, the time that I spend on the things that I spend them on are laser focused. And I get a crap ton done. in a very small amount of hours. And so, not that this is really possible, but I believe that if I compared my time spent and allocation and my focus when I was 21, 22, 23, and you compare it now as a 34, almost 35-year-old, like the 100 hours that I may have been spending as a 22-year-old, most of that was wasted, utterly useless. I could argue that I was busy, but I was busy doing the wrong things. So the 100 hours as a 22-year-old compared to the 40, 50 hours, 60 hours that I spend now, man, infinitely better. Like, I am just a better operator. I'm a more experienced and wiser person. And as a consequence, my creativity is more effective. It's just better. I feel more creative. Again, I feel more creative than I ever have. And I feel that there is more potential in what I'm doing today than anything that I've done in the past. And I freaking love it. I would never want to go back to being a 20-something-year-old. That would be like absolutely horrible. I do not envy youth, especially now, at all, because the crap that I had to go through, the brokenness, being broken in as a 22-year-old entrepreneur, or actually I wasn't even being an entrepreneur then. I wasn't even doing startups. Being broken in was painful, like painful. Oh, so painful. I never want to do that stuff again. So anyway, thank you, Sean, for that great article. It was just, what an encouragement this morning. And I'm so glad to be where I am today. I'm so glad that I didn't fully buy into this idea that the younger that I am, the more capable I am. I'm more creative than I ever have been, and I'm so glad for the experiences that I've had. I feel super blessed and super grateful. I'm here at BMW dropping off this car. 2 recalls on it, so got to get it fixed. Getting a loaner. Oh. The lounge at BMW. Guess you could go check out some other cars, you know, that's what I'll do. This is the X1. Looking at the X5, the larger SUV. Okay, just to finish that thought, I'm not too old to start a startup. You aren't too old to start a startup. But more importantly, you and I are both not too old to be super creative. And in fact, our creativity is better when we're older. I know this from my own personal experience. I'm more creative, and I love that. I love that. So if you're discouraged, if you're my age or maybe even older and you don't feel like you have it, you definitely do. It's just different. It's different and better. Creativity ages well. It's like fine wine. It only gets better. The utility is just immeasurably better than when I was younger and when you were younger. So be encouraged. Love that thought. Thank you again, Sean, for an incredible article. Links below for reference material. But just meditate on that today and this weekend. Is what does creativity mean to me as I get older, as I age? And what does that mean for me? What should I do with it? There's a lot of potential still left on the table for you and me. So anyway, Friday thoughts. Thank you, Sean. Ha! They're giving me an X1 as a loaner, which is great because it's essentially a test drive of an X1, which is a version of the X3, which is a version of the X5, which my wife and I have been thinking about. We might need a little bit more space, like, who knows? But this is perfect. I get to test drive the BMW SUV for a little bit, so this is great. Ooh, a little bit more space. Sweet! Okay, I really gotta go do some work now. A few moments later, I get home and my wife is like, I want an acai berry bowl and a 5-seed smoothie. And I'm just like, yes, ma'am. Yes, whatever you want. All right, mission accomplished. Grabbing an Uber, headed to a co-working spot to have a couple meetings, and then I've got some stuff I need to sit down and do. It's just been one of those days. And then I'm headed to Slack's headquarters in Soma for a quick meeting with their venture team and their venture capital, kind of early stage exploratory fund, if you will. Not sure what they call it. It's a VC fund. It's a venture fund. Yeah. Chat with them about what we're building and catch up with some of the folks over at Slack, which we really like Slack. We like Slack a lot. And I think really that should be most of my day, which is a long day, but it should be a really good one. Hopefully you guys have had a great start, and hope you guys really knock it out Friday and then get ready for a pretty relaxing, laid-back weekend. All right. Thanks. What's up, dude? All right, done with the meeting. It was great. Love hanging out with that guy. Clint, you'll see a little bit more of him around. I think Clint is essentially Clint is an intern at Pinpoint and is helping build out some of the systems and operations. Particularly, he's helping to build out the internship program for us, which is fantastic. It's going to be awesome. Finished the first week last week, checking in today, and talking through what we want the rest of the first tour of duty to be like. So grateful for Clint. He's helping me do a lot of important stuff, but I think most importantly, he's helping me become a better manager. And man, I have a lot to work on in that area. Yeah, just that's all I want to say about that, is I have a lot still to grow and how to be the best manager that I can be. I always appreciate opportunities to practice and learn with real people who care about me and who care about what we're building. So anyway, Clint's awesome. Thank you so much, Clint, for being an intern with us. Yes, awesome. Walking over to Slack. I haven't eaten lunch. I haven't really even eaten breakfast, but it's been one of those days where I essentially have no time to eat, and that will kill me in the end. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to eat something soon. I think there are one or two things on the way here down 5th Street, and so maybe I'll pick up something to eat on the way home. All right, this other Slack office is actually here on 925 Mission, across from a Blue Bottle, which is one of my favorites. Never been to the Slack one. Oh, here we are. What's up, what's up? Slack. What's up, internet? Finally at home, just hanging out with Arden and Rowan. Sue is getting some a late lunch. It's been a very, very busy day, but had a great meeting at Slack. I'm looking forward to connecting with them a little bit more and chatting about the possibility of doing a little bit more work together, which would be super cool. I'm a big fan of Slack. There she is. You got a blue mouth, blueberries. Ugh. One cool thing that came in the mail today is my Fidget Cube. This is an interesting device. It's got these bunch of different things that you can kind of flip and Arden Bell, that you can flip and fidget with, the buttons. And this Fidget Cube, the concept is for people who like to fidget, like I do, and kind of give you something to do with your hands if you're talking or nervous. I get nervous a lot when I meet new people. And what I've typically done historically is I have this red car, this really small car. I have a bunch of them here. And you may have seen that car on the vlog, and I'll have that in my pocket and I'll kind of fidget with it. It's calm me down, focus my thoughts. But anyway, someone came up with this Kickstarter project called Fidget Cube, and it arrived. I'll have a link in the description below. I think it'll be pretty cool. Like, I like the form factor. It's a little bit large, to be honest. But we'll give it a go. It feels comfortable in my hand. I think I'm particularly liking the switch. I don't know, but that's kind of noisy. I don't know That would start annoying people. I don't want to be more annoying than I already am. That one's not bad. Yeah, so you can put this in your pocket and kind of fidget with it while you're doing whatever. Fidget Cube, we'll check it out. We'll see how that works, see if that's useful for me. Now it's fine with supporting a Kickstarter project anyway. Got some late coffee on the stove that I got to drink, but otherwise I really think it's been a very long day. I got another thing in the mail, but I won't share it with you quite yet. It's part of a larger reveal. Cliffhanger! So stay tuned. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Friday. Love you guys. Have a great weekend as well. I will see you guys tomorrow.
It's a banana!